like it's a car, and they're going to take it into these other people like doctors, and they're responsible for their vehicle. You've got to start taking a lot more responsibility for your vehicle called your body and start treating it a lot better. I know people who take better care of their carpet than they take care of their body. And, well, this cost only 99 cents at this fast food restaurant. Oh, my God, what could they put in it for 99 cents? I pay 99 cents not to eat it.
Again, Dr. Gold, very well said. I hope people will check out InfoWarsTeam.com. And again, because the solution is there. I just read the study where, for people on air here, and just covered it, where they're saying there's heavy metals in the high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup. They are building in the body. And then we don't have enough minerals and regular vitamins and things that are used to strip that out of the body. Right. So it's a double whammy. In fact, guys, people won't believe it. It was in the Washington Post like 3 years ago. Type in half of corn syrup has lead. And then you can also find one where half has mercury. And again, right. It's the manufacturing of this.
How they make it.
I mean, how do they get away with this, Doc?
I don't know. I mean, people say, Corey, you're exaggerating. I don't know. When I was a kid, we used to use certain kind of paints, and you'd have to dip the paintbrush like in turpentine to clean. And you'd get your hand with a little turpentine in it, and your hand and your whole body would feel weird when you got some turpentine on it. So things we put into our body, even on our skin, get inside our system. And they make these different things like high fructose corn syrup, and they have to use all these toxic chemicals to make it. How do you think they get it all out? When they try to make it. When they use toxic chemicals to make something, it's not surprising that some of it would be in there when you finally put it into your body. And if your body can't clear heavy metals out of its system, a lot of those heavy metals find their way into your brain, and you almost like you're sleeping, or you're kind of fuzzy. And you multiply that day after day, week after week, month after month, especially with a small infantile brain as a child develops, or a mother when she's, having a child, in utero, and we're setting up that brain not to function right. I mean, somebody's got to be asking themselves, how do we have 1 out of every 50, 55 boys being born today having autism spectrum? And nobody's asking, or very few people are asking, why is it that it used to be 1 out of thousands and now we're at 1 out of 50? Something's different. No, you're absolutely right. Let's expand on that and then come back and start taking some calls here. People like Daniel in New York listening on WASB 1590 AM, an affiliate we've had for about 12 years. Great folks up there. Expanding on that, I remember reading studies in the 90s about HIV and why illegal drug users were getting into such higher levels, not just the needles, but that they were getting autoimmune disorders and were more receptive to the virus being able to attack them because they were using methamphetamine in things, and because the precursors are controlled, the chemists have to get a bunch of ingredients, and they don't separate all the toxins and heavy metals and Grignard reagents out, and then that basically destroys their T lymphocytes, the toxins, the heavy metals, and then they basically have no immune system. Well, that's what we're seeing in the general public. The general public has the neurological disorders and other disorders that drug addicts that take dirty speed have. And, I mean, it's very simple. Our culture is in deep trouble. It's like the Romans lining their jugs, their clay jugs with lead and it leaching in. They didn't know. Well, we do know. We need to stop it. You're absolutely right. I mean, take it to the most basic level. A lot of times when somebody's totally run down, they've been working nonstop for a week or two, they're not sleeping well, and they go, oh my goodness, I just got a cold. Surprise, surprise, you got sick. Your body was completely run down. It was malnourished. You weren't getting good food. You weren't getting good rest. You weren't getting good exercise. You were never de-stressing at all. And surprise, surprise, you got sick. Do that for years or generations, and all of a sudden everybody's getting autoimmune disorders. Everybody's getting early onset diabetes, early onset issues with that they used to get. Somebody used to get dementia in the 80s and 90s. Now they're getting in the 50s. People can't remember in the 40s.
Diesel owner.
Here's why I get so excited. If you study, and I'm begging every listener to do this right now, because this can really hurt the New World Order. When we thrive, when humanity does well, when we have knowledge, we don't perish. If you go back 300 years ago or so, the Spanish, the French, the Dutch, nobody knew that you needed vitamin C. They didn't even know what vitamin C was. And by the time your ship was 3,000 to 4,000 miles away, all the fresh fruit was gone. You're eating hardtack and salt pork. The men, old cuts, if you'd cut your arm bad when you were a kid, it would open back up. Sores, you couldn't walk, you get a cold, you'd fall over dead. Remember seeing statistics about half the slaves they'd bring over would die on those coffin ships from West Africa to the Americas and the Caribbean, until I read deeper and learned on an average mission, more than 30%, in some cases whole ships would die of what they called yellow fever and things going into Africa. And it was because they were so debilitated. And the men were pressed. They were slaves on the ships to go get black slaves. That's why most of them started going pirate, because that was better than just dying of malaria and side issue. History's very, very interesting. A lot of times they would mutiny and refuse over the treatment of the blacks. So you're never taught that they were always good people. But the point is that then what was it, about 300 years ago or so, but they kept it a national secret. The scientists in England discovered that there was something in fresh fruit that would keep their soldiers and everybody totally healthy. That's why they got the name limeys, because the men didn't want to swim, didn't want to clean. They had all these old wives' tale things. They wouldn't, let me repeat this, they wouldn't eat fresh vegetables most of the time. They thought they were bad for you. I'm not joking. And so they would say, you want your daily payment of grog that is, what, 1 part rum, 2 parts water? That was the water they were given, was alcohol. They would put the little key limes, I love those little suckers, love the pies they make. They would put them into the grog. And then that's why everybody called them limeys. You call Germans the derogatory term, I don't know why it's derogatory, krauts, because they eat sauerkraut, or somebody who's got, the name, Mick, because they're from a certain area, they call them that. Well, that's why you call the Irish, not the Irish, the Brits were called limeys, because their ships would have the limes on them. That's all I'm saying here. I mean, just getting mega dosages of vitamin C is going to do a lot for you. InfoWarsTeam.com. We're about to go to break. I promise I'm coming back to all your calls on a host of issues. It'll be all over the map with Dr. Corey Gold here. But, Doc, is my point about scurvy a good one for people?
It was probably the first documented time where people connected helping a disease, or actually curing or preventing a disease, with food. And that you could have a lime, you could have an orange, you could have a tangerine, and people didn't get a disease. You took that away from them, they got the disease. Simple connection, A to B.
And the British Empire in the next 200 years became dominant because everybody else laughed at them with the limes. And the Brits didn't say why they were doing it because nobody told them. The guys on the ship didn't know why. Can you believe the British Empire was able to take over because of limes?
Well, sometimes simple things make a big difference. If your army can withstand cold weather better, you're going to do better. If your army can stand being out in the field longer, you're going to do better. And why they've used saltpeter in periods of times, why they put fluoride in waters in prison camps. They're trying to control the population. Why do they allow some people to learn how to read and not allow other people to read, controlling information? But you're right. What people are fed. That's why in a lot of countries, look at North Korea now, the only people who are fed well are the soldiers. They feed them. They don't feed the other people.
And then nobody can rise a hand against them. I've talked to troops that are in Iraq, and they talk about how debilitated the Iraqis are from malnourishment, and that's why they can't really fight. I mean, It is amazing. We're going to take some calls, but then I want to get into food as a weapon. The UN talks about it. Your food's been adulterated, all of it by design, plus all these toxins are addictive. Just like arsenic becomes addictive. We're being poisoned by design. We'll be right back. Don't forget the website, InfoWarsTeam.com. Get healthy today. Dr. Corey Gold is our guest. I might just keep him the whole rest of the hour if he can do it. I got a bunch of news I want to throw at him. He's a talk show host in his own right. Very interesting, very smart fellow. We got loaded phones. After I take 5 or 6 that have been on hold, then it can be some questions for him on nutrition and his research. I got a bunch of points he wants to get to that I haven't even covered yet, because I said, hey, what are some of the things that are hottest on your radar? We'll get to that. But I get back to this whole thing of the scurvy. It's like the limes. For hundreds of years, the British scientists knew That's why their soldiers could be 8,000 miles from home, pull up to another ship from Spain or France and kick their hind end, because usually the other sailors and soldiers, the Marines, the Dragoons, couldn't even get up off the deck. I've read these naval histories. They're so interesting. And it was the British secret weapon, and the other governments just stayed in their ways and laughed at them. They weren't asking why are their people fresh thousands of miles away from home and not dying like ours from disease. It's amazing. Well, we'll get to it later. It just blows me away, Doc.
Well, food's been used as a weapon for a long time. Troops have always been fed much better than the general population. When you're controlling the population with a small number of people, you want them to be the strongest and you want them to be the most loyal. They're loyal to them because you feed them. We're kind of running like that in America right now with so many people on food supply by the government. I mean, free food by the government. When the government's responsible for the food you eat, the water you drink, the school you go to, your home loan, your car loan, your job, nobody questions the government too much. Otherwise, you don't eat and drink.
Wow. Wow, we'll get back into that after calls. Very powerful point. Daniel in New York, listening on WASB, 1590 AM. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. A minor correction. It's actually WRSB 1310 out of...
I knew it was WRSB. I don't know why it said, when I read that, I thought it looked wrong. But hey, we got to get things wrong here. It's important we do that.
Anyway, I've listened to you since something like 1998. The Lyndon LaRouche organization first woke me up to the eugenics agenda in late 77.
Hey, wait a minute. I know why we got it wrong, because there's another station that carries us, the sister station.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
Okay, well, we really didn't get it wrong then. But anyways, I apologize. Go ahead and make your point.
Right, but I can't get the station out of Brockport. It's too far away.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, I've got 3 points. The first point is Fast and Furious. We can't stop at the demonization of the Second Amendment being the cause for it, because... if you look at it a little further, the real reason is, I think, so that the Mexican drug cartels can take over chunks of the southwestern border states. If the guns are coming in and being used to take certain areas of Arizona and New Mexico and such over. It's really constitutionally defined treason, which is a very rare bird. Now, to prove it, what people need to do is to connect the guns at the locations where they have taken over in the border states. I think we might look at a much larger scandal than simply demonizing the Second Amendment.
No, it's about destabilization of the entire region. We'll get Corey's take on that after the break, but what's your other points?
Another point is Paul Joseph Watson, who's been having all sorts of ailments and such from dealing with the British medical establishment and their ineffective ways. Now, if I know
I'm trying to get him on Beyond Tangy Tangerine, but go ahead.
Yeah, but if you hook him up to your health experts, and
I know that's something I've overlooked. Well, he's over in England. No, right, listen, Watson's not sickly. He exercises all the time. He got a chest cold, and for over a month couldn't get in to see the health service. Then he wanted to go to a specialist because they tried to give him some Tylenol, basically. And they wouldn't even let him go see a regular doctor. So the point is, you can't get to see the doctor in England because it's socialist, eugenicist, murder care. So I don't want the idea that Watson's like this snot-nosed, person who's in bad shape. He got a bad cold and can't even find out what it is because there's no health care in England.
When you're out on the road.
Well, he is a talk show host in his own right, and he's also a dentist. And he has several other degrees in biology and other areas. And he is one of the top